Hey guys, welcome back to Red Circle Podcast. I'm Vanessa. This is my co-host Ed.
Yep, we got to get my eyebrows right.
Yeah, they look great.
I do get scabs on my eyebrows. I don't know why.
Scabs?
That's weird.
Scabs?
Yeah, it's like my eyebrows flake. Isn't that weird?
Dry skin?
I think so.
Okay.
But
I'm like, why are you scabbing?
I never get anything. I never do anything to my face.
Yeah. Men, y'all are lucky. I got my eyebrows tattooed.
Tattooed?
Did you know that these are tattoos?
That's not real?
No. This one's fading really bad.
Fading?
Okay, so they go with your hair.
This is what we're talking about today, okay, guys? Facials and...
Let's talk about Botox. I got Botox a month ago.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want my opinion on Botox.
I already know your opinion.
Yes.
I wanted to see if maybe you noticed because my eyebrows, the arches do go up a little bit, and I was nervous because I have these tattooed and I wanted them archy, so I was afraid I was going to be a little extra
excited.
Yeah, but it looks good. So
it reminds me of something funny. My daughter was pouty. My youngest daughter, and she's got a really animated face.
She does. She's so cute.
Yeah, and she gets mad, and she furrows her eyebrows.
Yeah,
and she just like that, and she gets like little pouty. And I told her, I think it was yesterday. No, the day before yesterday or the day before yesterday. I was like, Abigail, come here, and she's like. And I was like, look, if I pull up your eyebrows, even if you're pouty, you still smile. And she went in the mirror and she was like, Daddy, that's right. And then she forgot that she was mad, right?
Yay. She's so cute.
I tricked her.
Your little curls. Bye.
So today we're going to talk about cryptocurrency, the mark of the beast, what the elite are trying to do, and this is kind of more speculative. This is actually theory.
Yeah.
Right? Where most of the stuff we've talked about is factual.
Yeah.
Conspiracy facts.
Yes.
That's horrible. And but today we're going to be talking about conspiracy theory, my conspiracy theory on cryptocurrency and all that stuff.
I heard somebody say that since 2020 conspiracy theory should have been changed to spoiler alert. So this could be a spoiler alert, guys. Get ready.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Spoiler
alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Because
Alex Jones was right.
Alex Jones was right. Making the frogs gay. Yeah. It's just, and like all of these things, we're watching it start to happen. They're talking about it. They're doing it. It's happening.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Big Brother is unveiling himself, you know, and the controlled system of every aspect of your life.
Yes.
Is coming. You know, the China model is coming to America if we can't stop it.
Yeah. Do you think we can stop it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's possible. It's kind of like at the end of They Live, where he's like, I still believe in America.
Yeah.
Like, and if you haven't seen that movie and you're a conspiracy theorist, like, I'm going to take your conspiracy theorist card.
The card
Your red circle card. You're going to lose it. So you have to go watch that movie. That one, The Matrix, V for Vendetta.
Love.
Like, I'm sure there's other ones.
People call me V because my name is Vanessa.
Oh.
But I think about that every time people say it.
Yeah.
And I sign V instead of like all of it.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay. So I'm going to, because some people don't know anything, they don't know anything about cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. Now, I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are not synonymous.
Correct.
So Bitcoin is like digital property or gold, so to speak, because it's so scarce and because there's no ownership and because it's truly decentralized. Yeah. And nobody can really control it. I think China tried to, and then they just gave up. Yeah. And that's why they outlawed it.
And what a great system. Like, so smart. The mining, all of it. So smart.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories around Bitcoin and who created it and who Satoshi Nakamoto is.
Yeah.
And the best one I've ever heard was a group in Russia, and Putin's part of it. Crazy idea.
I don't know why I always imagine anything Russia's doing to not be
successful.
Yeah, to be like the rose art, like the crayons, Crayola versus rose art. Like everything about Russia is rose art to me, but I don't know why. Like I don't think they're cool enough to do that.
No, I don't know, man. The Russians are good at chess. That's the one thing that you know for sure.
It's true.
Math, chess, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of famous writers, Russian, stuff like that. But and the Russian people have that's a whole crazy story of how the monarch was overthrown, and that they were like Orthodox Christian, and they literally massacred them all.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh no,
I had no idea until you sent me that video.
Oh, it's crazy.
I didn't
right?
realize.
It's so sad.
Yeah,
it's so sad. It's a travesty. It's probably one of the worst things that's happened in the world in the last 100 years. It's up there, top 10.
Yeah.
And then you got the communist China, right? The stupid communism.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand the idea. This is the one thing I think most people don't understand about politics, is that you're supposed to understand the other person's point of view before you can object to it.
Yes.
So you first have to understand why people like socialism and communism before you can object to why they're communist or socialist. So the first thing you need to do is understand why. And it's because the elite control most of the wealth of the world. And because they control most of the wealth of the world, that the normal people are oppressed, right? Like your 9-to-5 job is literally the new style of slavery, and you go to school so that you could be a better paid slave, right? That's the truth.
100%, yeah.
Even in America, where we are the 1% of the world, financially, like lifestyles, all that stuff, it's like 12 o'clock and we're shooting a podcast. Like, who can do this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Other people would be like carrying buckets of water.
Yeah, literally. Just to survive.
Yeah, rummaging through trash or farming or cutting up a chicken, like we remember when we butchered that chicken? It was a lot of work.
We gotta post that.
Gee,
it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. Like, imagine that. Like if you really think about the human history, most of the time was spent
surviving,
getting food, making it, and then eating it. Like, literally, that's most of your day.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, we just go and like microwave food, and we're like,
yeah,
yum, yum, yum.
Yeah.
And like technology will surpass. It keeps surpassing the need for labor. Like, I think it was in Dallas or San Antonio, McDonald's opened their first totally 100% automated McDonald's.
Like, even the kitchen was automated?
No one's working there. It's a machine.
Even the kitchen. But who loads the stuff? There has to be at least somebody.
Nobody.
What? I have not seen that.
Yeah, look it up. It's crazy.
And anybody who's surprised that that's happening hasn't been paying attention.
Yeah.
Like, you go to Walmart and you check yourself out. Like, everything's moving that way. Yeah.
Have you seen those like floor shiner vacuum things that are driving everything by themselves?
Yes.
And I stood in front of it and it was like,
yeah.
And it went around me. I was like,
you're like, dude.
I wanted to sit on it and just like take a tour around the place,
Let's see what happens.
Like
during COVID, they had one of those that was like spraying mist all over things.
Oh God.
Yeah, I got misted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like Banaka. It's
perfect.
Banaka.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
That's crazy.
Somebody
like
would think
you sprayed me with
Walmart.
something.
What?
Yeah, God knows.
Sanitizer, chemicals.
Coronavirus.
Get
real. Okay, back to Bitcoin.
Okay, we're back.
So there will only be 21 million Bitcoin ever created. And every 4 years, there's a halving event, which cuts in half the miner's reward, which creates a shock to the supply, which is what creates the bull run. Okay? And this is not financial advice. Um, Ethereum, most people used to call it the oil or the gasoline of the crypto engine.
Okay.
It is no longer decentralized because they went to proof of stake 2 months ago. So proof of stake is meaning you stake your coins and then you earn rewards off of that. And then you have little nodes, not literally miners, nodes that find the new and decipher the new transactions. So like I can get my computer and it can run a node and I could get paid rewards for running a node for Ethereum.
Okay.
Okay. I used to mine Ethereum
So
on
those
that
nodes,
computer.
that's called mining?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's somewhat mining, but it's different than Bitcoin.
Bitcoin mining.
is you're literally doing calculus to figure out complicated mathematical codes to earn the rewards, not just verifying the transactions.
Okay. And so you used to do that with this computer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to do it, and I would win percentage of Bitcoin or whatever. I have it somewhere. It was not very profitable.
It's cool you did it though.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I tried it. Running a node for Ethereum now, you have to stake a certain amount. You have to put a certain amount of money that you can't move, and when you do that, you have to have a certain amount, which is big. So if you want to run an Ethereum node, you're gonna have to have, I don't know, $1 million worth of Ethereum or something.
I was like,
it's not easy.
$10,000 worth.
No, it's big.
Jeez.
So you can run nodes for some of the smaller coins, and you still need to have a lot of it. You know what I mean? So it's possible, but that's what it is you're really just deciphering what's going on, and you're using your bandwidth to run the network.
Okay.
But it's centralized because they can find out where the headquarters of Ethereum is and arrest everybody and shut it down. You can't do that with Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin is truly decentralized.
Yeah.
And nobody even knows who owns it, so who's going to stop it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you also have like these other coins like XRP, who's being sued. You have ADA. So ADA is Cardano. You have like Solana, which is garbage now, and there's a bunch of them. You can go into all of these different coins and study them out, and they all do certain different things, right? And you like Polkadot, like I don't want to get into too many of the different coins, but there's a lot of cryptocurrencies, and that's not a Bitcoin. A Bitcoin is a separate thing.
Yeah. I think people use those words
synonymously, and I want to make that clear.
Yeah, like Kleenex and tissue. Kleenex is the brand.
Yes.
And a tissue is what the...
Yeah. They're like, what are those Bitcoin things?
Exactly.
And you're like, Bitcoin is one thing.
Yeah.
And then they literally call all the rest of them altcoins. So alternative coins. So that's a term.
Dang.
So altcoins. So you can have an altcoin, and then you can have Bitcoins. Okay. So any of the other coins are considered altcoins. Okay. Now, there's also what's called, and there's a different type of currency in cryptocurrency, and it's stable coins. So a stable coin is like a 1-to-1 ratio. It's supposed to be a 1-to-1 ratio with an actual
dollar
currency.
Okay.
Number one being the dollar.
Okay.
And there's a few different kinds, there's like, I don't want to get into all of them, but there's a few different kinds of these stable coins that instead of trading back into your bank account into dollars, you can trade into a stable coin and then withdraw those money later or trade it back into later, but it'll stop it from being in the volatility of the cryptocurrency. So a lot of people that are trading crypto use stable coins. Now, just recently, the beta test for the Fed coin came out. Okay, and the Fed coin is a coin, and there's one in the euro that they're in the process of working, and then there's already one working in China. China kicked out cryptocurrency, and then they created their own coin.
Mm-hmm.
And in America, that one is in the beta right now. It's the Fed coin. I think it's DUSD, something like that. I think that's the code for it. Don't quote me on it. And if you really think about what the Fed coin can replace, it's insane. So number one thing it can replace is obviously currency.
Mm-hmm.
And then your currency will no longer be physical, which very little of it is actually.
Yeah.
And then number two, you will not need a bank. You will not need a mortgage company. You will not need, Rocket Mortgage. These different.
I didn't even think about that.
You will go direct to the Fed, and it will bypass all of these people.
So that's the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
It will be the entire bank.
There's no
middle person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then think about.
Are the banks okay with that?
Well, they're all the same people. The real banks are all the same people.
Oh my god.
And then the other thing that it'll replace is in the long term, not immediately, it'll replace title companies.
Okay.
It will replace car dealerships that do financing for your cars, right? So when you go to your car, you go to the finance department. All you do is you'll just get your phone and you'll scan it, and
they'll be like, "Bleep, bleep, bleep. This is what you can do."
In 5 seconds, you'll get your car approved, and you'll walk out with your car.
That's bonkers.
Mm-hmm. And then it will, and you'll have probably a car dealership that's automated, and then you'll have title companies, because everything will be on the blockchain, and the blockchain, the biggest thing that the blockchain fixes is ownership. Okay, because you cannot unravel the ownership. Mostly for Bitcoin. Now, these other ones, if they're centrally controlled, you can update. That's the big thing that a lot of people, the Bitcoin maximalists, don't like, is because it's truly not the concept, right? The Bitcoin concept was the concept, and everybody made their own, but they kept it not the concept, because it's impossible for them to monetize something that they don't have control over.
Yeah.
That's the rub.
Yeah.
That's the rub. So the other thing is, because your title will be on the blockchain. So think about everybody that's running a node. Let's say for Cardano, okay? You have a node at your house. I have a node. It's like Oprah with nodes. You have a node. And you get a node. That's what I hear in my head. And so say there's, I don't know, 40,000 people running nodes. Each one of them have the code on the computer for all of the transactions ever done.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So if somebody tries to do a fraudulent transaction, all the other nodes will be like, no, that's not a fraudulent. And then the system will delete that fraudulent transaction automatically.
Whoa.
So it's the decentralization of being aware of who's doing the transaction is the power. Is what makes the blockchain something important. Okay, so because they're going to put it on the blockchain, yet they're still going to own the blockchain, you're not really going to have any decentralization. You won't get the benefits of it because the Fed will still control it.
Yeah,
they can delete you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's the fear of a lot of people, is that they'll put it on the blockchain. You'll have your title for everything on the blockchain. Your title for your car, title for your house, the title for your kids, and your marriage license, and your health records. You'll have so if you go to the doctor, they'll just scan your phone and they'll have all your health records, right? Eventually it won't be your phone. Eventually it'll be in your hand, right?
A little thing
and it'll scan your blockchain, and then they know everything about you. They'll say your credit score. It'll say have access to your bank accounts, all that stuff.
That sounds exciting and cool and technology and awesome. And now I don't, like, when you said marriage license, my first thought was, where is my marriage license?
Exactly.
Because I'm organized, but we moved. So I don't know where our things are right now.
And then it's also then you don't have to go to the courthouse.
Yes.
And you have to go get a certified copy and all the nonsense,
So all of that sounds great, but it's dangerous.
It is,
It's
because
so dangerous.
do you trust these people?
No, hell no.
Okay, so that's the thing. Now, the way that they're going, this is my theory, the way that they're going to sell us to get into it is they're going to pay you more to convert your dollars into Fed coins.
So they're going to say, hey, you have $100. I'm going to give you $125 in Fed coin. Come convert.
Yeah, and then everybody's going to be already, struggling financially because we're going into this crazy collapse, right?
Yeah.
And people will do anything.
Yeah.
Right, and then they'll be like, okay, and then you'll get access to, this stockpile of food or whatever. Right, and then it'll make, like, your kids will also have tracking devices on them as well as your dogs, right? So your dogs are already microchipped.
They are.
Right?
They are.
They're already microchipped, yeah. Right? And so if your dog gets lost, they take him to the pound, and the pound scans them. But if in the future your dog will get lost, the people will scan it with their phone, beep, and then they'll be like, oh, this is her number. Owner. Blink, call you. It will avoid a lot of the work for the pound and for, the Humane Society and all of this stuff, right? People dropping their dogs in the middle of the desert, whatever.
Yes, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
All those things will live. And it will increase the efficiency of the economy, which is a good thing, but we will lose transparency, we'll lose privacy, and then we'll lose autonomous. We won't be as autonomous as possible. Like, how much stuff, like, what I hate the most is when I go to, like, Walgreens or Target or Albertsons, and they make you get this little card and you scan it so you can get the discount.
Yeah.
Right? There's like a Savers thing, and then you put it in there and you're like, and they're like, oh, you bought, 8 cans of soup, and now you get 5% off your next purchase or whatever. They give you some coupons at Walgreens. It's the same thing. They're data collecting.
Yes.
They're data collecting on you, and most people have no idea that you're being used as a cog for data. Data is the new gold rush. Data is what people are looking for now. 1,000,000%. Data.
Yeah. And they're not even doing those cards anymore. They're tracking your credit card and they're tracking your phone. So, like, Albertsons, to get the coupons,
you put your cell phone in there.
You put your phone in. You have to put it in the little credit card reader. And then it'll download all the coupons. It's very easy. You don't have to clip them anymore. But they're data collecting.
Yeah, like my wife, she has the Walmart apps.
I do too.
Or Sam's app.
I have Walmart, Sam's, Target, all of them. Yeah.
And then she doesn't have to go into line to pay. She just pays on her phone and then walks out.
Yep. Same.
Right?
Yep.
And then I'm like, that's possible? Like, that's crazy.
It's the best, especially during the holidays. We went Christmas shopping and we were just like, beep, 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 beep. They scanned it and we were out.
Yeah, forget about scanning it in the little thing and then bagging it up. You just walk out with your cart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you won't even have to do that. So it's a brave new world that's coming, right? And in the scripture, it says, unless you have the mark, you can neither buy nor sell anything unless you have the mark.
Yes.
Because everything will be there. Now,
that's the system. Yeah.
They're not going to be able to, they're not going to transfer it to our hands first. They're going to transfer it to the phone.
Yeah.
We are literally attached to these things already.
I have mine on me now.
Yeah. You're literally attached to it. My phone won't stop ringing. And we're literally attached to these things right now anyway.
Yes.
Elon Musk said it that we were like already androids. Yes. He's like the problem is the interface.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to use this and soon it'll be in here.
Yeah.
Once he's
mine.
done.
Not mine.
Hell no.
Yeah, I'm not putting no chip in my neural link.
No.
Let me ask you this. If you had a special needs kid, we have a friend that has special needs.
Yeah.
Like real special needs. I'm not talking like you got ADD.
Yeah.
Like a real special needs kid. Would you put a chip in that kid's brain? What if you had a kid that their leg no longer works?
Yeah. And the Neuralink would fix that. Yeah. Yeah. And see that I think that's why he's starting with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's this question, this need, this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like quality of life for humans that we can give.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you say no to that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love my child to have a good quality of life.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing with technology for me, I love technology and I want to be what is it called? A first adopter?
Mm-hmm.
One of the first people to like pay to get it, to try it, to do all
Get
that.
the new iPhone, stay in line.
All of that. But I have chosen not to be one of those because I want to watch and see, not necessarily with phones, but with other things like having an Alexa in our house or, you know, doing all those things.
Yeah, I don't like it in my house. My wife bought it.
Yeah.
You know, she got the Alexa, play jazz music, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's probably going to go on right. And, you know, and I'm
it's
like.
It's so convenient and it's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. But I'm kind of teetering between keeping things organic, I'll say, and having enough technology that I'm still relevant and teaching my kids enough technology because the future is technology. But I don't want a computer chip in my brain. I will not get chipped in my body. You know, like I don't want Alexa listening, even though Siri is listening. You know, like
stupid Siri.
I know.
I hate her voice.
It's hard. But you changed it and you liked it.
Yeah, I on the maps. So
okay.
now I have an Irish lady. I think my wife does not like it, but I think it's hilarious.
I think it's funny when they say the Mexican words, and it's like, what did you just say?
Yeah,
it's
she's
so
like,
funny.
Because she's nice and polite, like the Irish lady. She's like, take a left here. And I'm like, oh,
I will.
You know?
No, Siri took me to Mexico the other day.
Yeah, because they moved that bridge. I heard of the story.
I was terrified. I was on the phone with Jake and I'm like, I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Mexico. He's like, well, turn around. I'm like, I can't. And he's like, but just turn around. Like, you don't understand. I'm in Mexico now. Well, why didn't you turn around? Because I couldn't. I wanted to cry.
Was it the Free Bridge or what bridge was it?
Yeah. The Free Bridge.
Was it the one of the spaghetti bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to get to the Coliseum.
Yeah.
And I was coming from downtown.
They took that exit out. They just went all the way straight,
Siri
which is
didn't
good
know.
because there's always traffic on that stupid road.
There is. It was quite easy to get there. There's no traffic.
You're like,
I was.
What did they ask you when you were crossing back over?
I wanted to spill my guts. I wanted to tell. Well, then I text Selena because I'm coming back over and I'm kind of. There's mad traffic. I'm following a guy that looks like he knows what he's doing. And we're kind of like doing stuff, you know, getting through the line faster. And then I realize I'm in a line that says Ready Pass. There's like 7 Ready Pass lines and 2 all vehicle lines. And I'm already in this line. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. So I text Selena. I'm like, Selena, help.
Our friend's a customs agent.
Yes. Selena, I'm in a ready lane. I don't know what that means. Are they going to be mad at me? And she was like, well, you do need documentation. Like you should have, like, you need specific stuff for this, but you should be fine. And so I go up and he's speaking Spanish to me. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying because I don't speak Spanish. And I just hand him my ID and then he just, and then he gives it back. And I was ready to tell him everything. I accidentally came here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. I'm in the wrong lane. And then I didn't want to look suspicious. And then pull me over.
He sees you sweating.
I know. I'm like, ah. And then I was coming from a fancy Christmas lunch. So I had like a very sparkly, like pretty top. I had my hair done. I had heels on. So I just didn't want anybody to take advantage of me in Mexico. I saw police. I don't know if they're police. They had huge guns.
Yeah.
And I was gonna like pull over and tell them I'm lost, but no,
Were
they're
they
bad
Mexican
guys there.
police?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna take my money. I look sparkly.
Yeah.
I'm in a BMW.
You're a little girl.
Yeah. No. And so I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Pull over. Google how to get home. Took 45 minutes.
Jeez.
I wanted to cry.
You made it.
I made it.
You're safe.
Ooh, thank you, Jesus. How do we get into that?
I don't know. So Bitcoin and crypto, so the Fed coin is out and it's going to replace everything.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that's what Bitcoin was supposed to do. That's what maximalists think Bitcoin will do,
Mm-hmm.
is replace everything.
Yeah.
And that's what they thought that Ethereum was going to do. And then that's what they think that Cardano is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, Cardano is the only one that has the ability to do it. Like, I think Ethereum's broken, and they keep putting lipstick on that pig.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think it's still going to be worth money? Like, don't hate me if you're an Ethereum guy, but do I think it's still going to be worth money? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's like trying to fix up a Pinto. You know what I mean? It's too big, and it's too much on it, and it's like this Frankenstein program.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin's clean, simple, honest. You buy Bitcoin, I 100% would recommend it. Not financial advice. Cardano is the one that has stood the test of time for me. Mm-hmm. Second to that would maybe be ADA. Not ADA, I mean XRP. But they have to get out of this lawsuit. Mm-hmm. You know, so ADA is was their whole key was to be a currency and not, you know, some be all thing like the other ones are. Yeah. Right? Like Ethereum and Cardano and Polkadot and these other ones. Now there's some like little cool ones that do different little things, and you can get into all of that stuff and, you know, have fun with it. You know, I made some money on it in the last cycle. I'm going to do it again this cycle. I really want to get to, you know, a bunch of Cardano, right? That's kind of my big goal, and then get like 3 or 4 Bitcoin. Like, that's my goal. Yeah. So I highly recommend those things. But the reason that I think it's terrifying is because they're using the technology for evil. Yes. And if we don't fight it against it and not accept it, we're going to be sold a bit of goods. So like the other thing that will happen is your mortgage will transfer over, your car payment will transfer over, all of these things will transfer over. And I think that's where maybe debts will be paid off. And that's the big thing I think that's going to get people into adoption. Go on to it. Is because they're going to pay off your debts, but then in a sense you won't own it anymore. Oh. Yeah, because you don't have control. Okay. You might have legal standing. Yeah. But it's very hard to prove when you're on the blockchain and you don't have access to the data. It's kind of like, you ever seen the movies where they like delete people? Yeah. Right? Like that's what it is. Like, yeah. Well, we don't know who you are. Delete. Have you gotten the chip yet? Yeah. No. Yeah. You know, like.
They're going to make it hard.
That's where it's going. Yeah.
That's so if they, for you, with the Fed coin, if it was like, we'll give you $1.50 on every dollar and we will delete your debts, would you do it?
It's hard to say no. But now, would I put a chip in me? No, I would not put a chip in me. I think that there's nothing wrong with going the way that they're looking at going. The other thing too is there's always loopholes. The elite understand these loopholes.
They make them for themselves. Yeah.
Putting things in living trust, putting things in whole life policies, putting things in like unique like titled way of titling stuff, so that you don't necessarily own it, but you control it. That's the way that they function. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, it's funny because that's what they used to say all the time in investing worlds, is like, you don't want to own it, you want to control it. And it's talking about the liability of owning, say, an apartment complex, somebody slips and falls, and they sue you, but they can't get to your other stuff because it's contained within the LLC. Most LLCs has nothing to do with taxes. It has everything to do with protection. Right? Protection from lawsuits and stuff. Yeah. Like that's what LLCs were created for. Or not LLC, corporations were created for, back with like shipping from the Queen of England or whatever, right? Yeah. like Christopher Columbus times. Like, think of that. Like, that's where corporations were created, because all these people would go on these ships and get, killed in the ocean, and then the families of all the people on the ship would sue the person that had money that financed it, and they would win all the money back. And that's what all those big merchants went to the crown, is like, hey, we're not going to finance any of these things anymore because we keep getting sued by their people and losing. And he's like, okay, we'll let you create a corporation, which a corporation is another person.
Yeah.
It's totally another entity.
Yeah, like the EIN is like the social security number for that entity.
Yeah. And then if you really research all that stuff down, you can get into the sovereign citizen movement. You can get into, like rejecting the whole premise of driver's license, and rejecting the premises of birth certificates.
I have a guy, I'm friends with his sister, and he's into that. And I haven't gone down the rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole.
I think mainly because of him, because he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's like on a different planet on purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to know about it.
It goes into maritime admiralty law. But
it doesn't hold up, right? Like legally, I don't think I've ever seen anybody have it
successfully. Yeah, because you send all these paperwork to the your county clerk, and they file this stuff, and then you're like, oh, I don't owe you money for my mortgage because you created it off of my name anyway. Stuff like that. Yeah. So you like do away with your debt and your taxes, and you're just like, I own this stuff because I'm sovereign. Yeah. Type stuff, and so the system. It is fascinating. Yeah. It is fascinating. Yeah. And how everything, like, it goes back into, like, how America went back under the crown, and how we still pay stuff to the crown still to this day, that we are still somewhat under the crown after, the War of 1812, and how they sacked the United States. And in that treaty, we went back under the crown. It's fascinating.
It sounds cool and it makes sense, but I feel like the government makes the rules, and we have to play within those rules to keep our stuff.
I'll tell you another one that's part of it. So in the Civil War, you had the South leave Congress, right? In the House of Representatives, they left, right? And they left the Congress with not enough members to create a quorum. Okay. Are you aware of a quorum? Yes. What's a quorum, so the people will know?
I believe, is it enough people to be able to, like, vote?
Yes. Yeah. So it's pretty much what it is you have to have, like, a certain amount based on the bylaws to even conduct business.
Yeah, to do anything. To meet, to vote, to do stuff.
To pass any regulation, nothing, right? For it to even work. Because enough of them left, it left them without a quorum, so then they couldn't pass anything anymore. And the only thing that Abraham Lincoln could do is create martial law. Okay, so they when Abraham Lincoln created martial law, he took a lot of these rights away and these powers to the executive branch, which were only made to be under extreme circumstances, i.e. a civil war, or we're in war, or whatever. But when they killed him before he could give it back, the power to Congress and the Senate. Have you ever felt like the House of Representatives really have no power? Yeah. Okay. Before that, they had all the power. Oh. So the House of Representatives and the Congress the Senate and the Congress are supposed to have the most power. Yeah. Right? Because they're the most amount of people. Right? Even if you look up the original Constitution, there was supposed to be a amount of Congress members per population, which they stopped doing that. Right now, it would be like 5 times as big. Oh, yeah. So think of, like, you're like in El Paso, we're like, I don't know, 800,000, and we have 2 Congress members, and one of them's like half of El Paso, like not even half of El Paso, like 10% of El Paso, and then he just kind of goes out to, like, the rural areas. I think he represents, like, Odessa and like Alpine and whatever.
Mhm.
But that guy, like Fort Hancock and Van Horn and these places,
All those smaller cities.
yeah. But that guy, if you think about those two, we would have like 8 congressmen
Mhm.
in El Paso. How
Yeah.
much more influence could I have over my congressmen
Oh yeah.
if there was only 8 of them,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how much more of a voice would the American people have in the House of Representatives
Mm-hmm.
than they do now? Now, Senate is not supposed to be that way. Senate is supposed to be 2 per state.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's made so that the state has an equal vote no matter how big or small it is,
Yeah.
right? So I say all that to say that the theory is that we're still under martial law, and we're still under like this maritime admiralty law. That's why when you go to court, you know, you like all the words in the courtroom are all maritime admiralty law.
Oh.
It's not like if you look up, there's a thing called the Black's Book of Law, right?
Okay.
And it gives out everything about law,
Mm.
right? And I'm not a legal person. This is just, I'm speaking out of the top of my head.
Yeah.
And that Black's Book of Law is like the core of how America was formed in creating law.
Okay.
But because we're no longer under sovereignty law,
Mm-hmm.
we're under martial law and maritime admiralty law. Maritime admiralty law is what happens when you're in a ship with people and you have a way of doing something happen, like you have mutiny or you have these type of things. So all of those things are on the ship,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you're I think when you're like a plaintiff, and then when you're the prosecutor, and then when you're, all these words are all translated from maritime admiralty law.
Mm.
The judge, how the judge dresses, how with the gamble, all that stuff is maritime admiralty law. That's not how court was done before.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. So, and then martial law is meaning that the executive branch has all the power.
Yeah.
That's why if you think about how big the executive branch is with all of the separate departments
Mm-hmm.
that are non-elected,
Yes.
and if you think about it, before the Civil War, there was just the executive branch, and you had the vice president, the president, and then like a couple staff members,
Mm-hmm.
and then like, you know, the rest of it. Like, and so probably like 99% of the positions in the executive branch did not exist
Yeah.
before the Civil War. So in a sense, Congress has never reconvened. This is the idea.
That's hardcore.
So Congress has never reconvened, and I think that's why the president still has to sign off on everything. And I may be misquoting some of these things,
Okay.
but the president still has to sign off on everything because he's really the one in charge.
Wow.
Yeah. So the executive branch was never supposed to have that much power.
Wow.
Never.
Okay.
So, but if you think about how different it was during the Civil War and before till today,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Oh yeah. It's completely different.
Now, I'm not saying the Civil War should not have happened, and I'm not saying I support the South. And I don't think the Civil War was just fought about slavery.
Yeah.
I think slavery was an issue.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
You know, for sure. But I don't think the Civil War was just fought about slavery. It was fought about states' rights and federal rights.
Mm-hmm.
And before the Civil War, the state had more power than the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed it.
Yes.
They're like, no, we're sovereign in our own state. Like if you think about General Lee, I think he was the leader of the South, and he politically supported the ideology of the federal government because he was from a certain state, and he had state, you know, what you would call it, like
pride.
Like pride. He stayed with the Confederacy.
Yeah.
And because he was going to be one of the generals for the federal government. He
Yeah.
was a general before, right?
Yeah.
For the U.S. military. So I don't know how any of that has to do with crypto, but it's an interesting fact, though.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a friend, or maybe your friend. We can bring him on and talk about sovereign citizen stuff.
Oh.
It's crazy, the straw man, and how your the Social Security, and on the back of your Social Security there's a number, and all of the money that you pay in taxes get sent to this number, which is somebody's account, and there's a lot of craziness.
Yeah.
There's numbers on your birth certificate.
Yeah.
And it's associated to accounts.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's pretty insane when you really talk about it, and how when you look at your driver's license. Let me see if I can hide my code. Right.
Oh my gosh, you have so many cards.
Yeah, I got too many stupid businesses. Right. Okay. Let me see. All right. Okay.
So it's another number besides your driver's license number?
No, what I was going to show you is, you won't be able to see it on there, but you guys can look it up on your own. But I can show you. So you see here how my name is in all caps?
Yeah.
Okay. The only person that has his name in all caps is who? There's two people that have their name in all caps.
Who?
It's dead people.
Oh. So on paperwork, dead people.
Legally, the only person that you can put a name in all caps is a dead person.
Okay.
Or a corporation.
Wow.
Right? Because when you write your name, you don't write your name in all caps. Title of books, you write in all caps, right?
No.
But corporation, you write in all caps.
Wow.
And a dead person, you write in all caps.
That's hardcore. That's, right? Yeah.
So, every legal document that you get from the government has it all in all caps. And that's where they're saying, I reject your corporation. I'm a sovereign person. All of the debt that this entity have, I didn't sign up for.
Yeah.
Or you literally do sign up when you get a birth certificate and a driver's license.
Yeah.
Right, a Social Security card. You ask to, you willingly join the scam.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you were born here, you were a baby.
Yeah, you didn't have any.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I wasn't old enough to defend myself.
I remember when I was filling out all the paperwork after I had the girls, and I spelled Addie's name wrong at first because I was like loopy C-section, And and Jake, thank God, he checked it, and we could have fixed it, but it would have sucked, But yeah, that would have been crazy.
Well, a lot of people, they spell their name funky.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people spell their name funky. How did you spell it funky? It's like, did you invert the letters?
I don't remember. Gray, because her middle name is Gray. I think
Gray, G-R-E. Okay.
I think I had spelled it with A because Addie A. I kind of wanted to have A's, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna do E. It was a whole thing. I forget, but it was on her first name.
Okay.
Maybe just one S. I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Not bad, but it's not what I wanted.
That's funny.
And in paperwork, for her school, I accidentally spelled it with an A. So at her old school, that's how her name was.
Oh.
And her teachers were teaching her how to write her name the wrong way because that's how it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Mommy.
Yeah. This does not match.
Yeah. At least it was fun.
Yeah. It works out.
So, in conclusion, I guess as we should say, is that if you're going to get into this, you just understand that if you're going to get into crypto and trade and all that stuff, just understand that Bitcoin is only the real deal. And it's the only one that you could put into a true cold storage, and or you cannot even put it into a cold storage, just leave it on the blockchain and remember the password in your head, and they would have to literally kill you to get the password.
Yeah. Right?
So Bitcoin's crazy. Now, we don't know who created Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We still don't know who created Bitcoin. It's like, it seems insane that that's even a thing.
Yeah.
In today's world, but it is.
Yeah.
And now the Fed coin will disrupt and control the world. So right now they're doing like the China, the Europe, and then the American one, and eventually it will all become one. And then you'll have the one world currency.
People don't understand how dangerous it is.
Oh, yeah.
I think people are just excited for the technology, excited for the perks that is going to happen. And it does sound awesome.
Yeah, think about all the fees it's going to save. Like, remember, I refinanced a house and it was like 4% in fees to refinance it, right? And then the bank is making more. Oh my gosh. They're making like a point and a half of the spread between what they're getting from the Fed to you. So you're going to save this percentage. Yeah. Again, getting more efficient. Yeah. Yeah. All the fees of collecting money, all that nonsense. Yeah. It's going to go away. Yeah. Right? We're going to be on,
which is cool.
We're going to be on like the little hover rounds, like drinking Slurpees like in Wall-E.
Wall-E.
Like watching TV.
Their bulbous bodies.
Yeah. Like.
But it's dangerous because you lose freedoms. Yeah. You lose your ability to do stuff. And if there's a system in place that you can't, like right now, Jake and I in college ruined our credit. Ruined it. And so to be able to get a car, to be able to get things, we couldn't because we just had bad credit. We couldn't do anything. But we were able to find places like on Donovan that would do the financing in-house. Yeah.
For a car.
Yeah, for a car. And there's different ways to get a house. I mean, you know that. You could there's tons of different ways to get a house. Yeah. And if you're not, the main thing I'm trying to say is if you're not playing by their rules,
it's very difficult.
You're not going to be able to survive in society. And right now, the rules aren't scary or dangerous necessarily.
As much.
But you're watching like with COVID and the vaccine. If you don't get the vaccine and if you decide you don't want to, I know people that are literally allergic to the flu vaccine. There's something in it that this man, he's an elderly man, he breaks out into hives, especially at the spot of injection. And he's unwell for like months. And so his doctor told him, you cannot get this vaccine because it has similar things in it. Yeah. And it's going to make you sick. Like you can't do it. And he almost got fired.
Wow.
He almost got fired.
Was it a government job?
No.
Stupid people.
No, it's not a government job. It's retail. He does retail.
Oh, God, that's lame.
That's BS.
It's like the worst job ever.
Yeah, so he's able to...
His job's going to disappear anyway.
It is. That's true. That's true.
It's coming.
But it's crazy that they could take away his livelihood. They could take away his money. If you don't play ball with the system.
This is just the test run.
It is a test run. And so many people fell for it.
Oh, God.
And so many people like us didn't. And we need more of that. And I think...
True bloods. Yes. Pure bloods.
Yeah. But I think...
My sperm's valuable. It works. It still
pure.
Swims. It still swims upstream.
People are paying more.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
For unvaxxed sperm.
Yep, I saw that.
Yep.
I wonder how to monetize that. So find out for me.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious.
Well, I just don't know where to go.
But like, do you want little Becks running around that you don't know about?
Well, the Bible says, "Be fruitful and multiply."
I've told Jake, that's mine. Only for me.
I was like, babe, I'll get you a new purse. He's like, okay,
it's valuable. No.
I just, also like, I'm tall. I might get some value out of it.
I feel like I was watching a video where a guy was saying, you can only pick one. He was like walking around nightlife somewhere. Girls dressed up, ready to go out. He said 6 foot, 6 inches, or 6. There's another one.
6 feet under.
Tall. 6 figures. Which one?
6 figures.
Every single girl, 6 foot.
Really?
Every single girl.
More than the money?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm I guess a
A
valuable
commodity.
commodity. Yeah, I'm gonna look this up. Maybe I can make some money.
Oh no! Don't do that. Do
I
not
just
do
would think
that.
weird of going to like a place and they're like, okay, go in there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who else is sat in this chair?
Oh,
You know what I
a
mean?
lot of people.
Who else is sat in this
A
chair?
lot of people, and they're doing the same thing you're about to do.
Ooh,
But the
no.
thing that freaks me out about that is our kids. So what if one of your girls meets a boy
Oh
and it's her
no.
brother, her half brother?
Gosh.
You have no idea.
That's crazy. I didn't even
Yes,
think about that.
that's the kind of stuff that gets me. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no,
Every boyfriend, I'm like, okay, here,
no. We need a
prick his
DNA
finger.
test.
Send it to.
Exactly. No, no, no.
Yeah.
So my
Everybody
last
keeps
thoughts.
texting me.
Who is it? I've been
I
getting
know.
lots too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my
We'll see
sister.
who wins.
You win today. It's just family chats. So one of the last things I want people to really think about is you had said we're going to lose our sovereignty and our freedom, and there's another word, liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about living in this country is about your personal liberties.
Give me liberty or give me death.
Yes. And supporting any kind of system that takes away choice, that takes away that personal liberty, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yep.
And I'll give an example. In the beginning of COVID, I was terrified. I was trying to make Jacob mask. He does woodworking, so we had N95s in the garage. I'm trying to make him mask because he's an appraiser. He goes into people's houses before that, like in February. I'm like, you can't come home unless you're masking. Like I was so afraid. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Anyways, he's like, masks don't work, N95s do, but blah, blah, blah. And I remember watching people on once masking was like you had to do it, mandatory in certain places. I was proud of the people that were standing up for their freedoms because in America, nobody should make you do anything you don't want to do. Even though I was pro-mask, I realized that that is the wrong thing. And I want everybody to really kind of all of these decisions and all of these kind of things kind of filter it through the lens of personal liberties. With guns as well. That's another good example. There's a lot of people that are not pro-gun, but they still stand for the Second Amendment because they see how important it is. They don't own a gun. Personally, they don't want one, but they understand the importance. And there's a difference. You might not personally want to do those things. Like in the beginning, I was masking. I was terrified. But I was proud of those people that were standing up for their rights. And I would stand up for that right. And now that I understand the science and I get it more, I'm like, oh, they were right all along. And I just want everybody to think about personal liberties. Have you watched Black Mirror? Any Black Mirror episodes? Okay, there's this one with Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce.
Let me look it up.
Howard.
Do you know who she is?
Bryce Dallas Howard. That's
Black
three
Mirror,
first names.
Bryce Dallas Howard. I
That's
love a first name, last name situation, and you're right, that is. Okay, so Black Mirror, everything that happens in Black Mirror is going to happen in real life.
No, really?
1,000,000% watch it. You'll love it. If you guys haven't watched it, watch it. Okay, so this episode is called Nosedive. And this is exactly, if you don't understand what's going to happen with all this stuff, watch this episode. And this is already happening in China. And so basically this episode's talking about social credit score and participating in all of that. So if you're nice, you get all these points. People like you, they'll swipe you and they'll give you points. And if somebody doesn't like you, they'll give you negative points. And people can sabotage you. And where you live,
it's like a popularity test.
It is. And there it's already happening in China. And having like all of your money and all of your everything tied up into a system like this,
So
where they could
WeChat.
just turn you off whenever they want, that's dangerous.
Yeah, super dangerous.
So in the end, she wasn't able, or she couldn't get an apartment. She was only allowed to get like a shitty apartment. She couldn't rent a car. She couldn't get into a wedding. She couldn't get any help. A trucker with worse points than her was somebody that was able to help her because they understood that the system was BS and they didn't want to play in the system. And she lost everything. because people just like, she had one bad day and she lost everything. It's a really cool episode.
It's like Kanye West.
It is.
It's
Oh,
Kanye West.
he's like disappeared.
Oh, really?
People are like, we haven't. Well, they're trying to serve him for the past, like, I don't know who, for the past like 2 weeks, and nobody's been able to find him. I don't know, but just understand personal liberties, personal freedom is everything, and don't support any kind of system that takes that away.
I think the thing that will happen is patriots will create black markets.
Yes, and it'll be more trade and different things like that.
The black market is always created once people become totalitarian.
Yeah.
So the black market, what's the things that we'll do? My predictions is A, the number one thing that will be traded will be water and food.
Yes.
Right?
1,000,000%.
And then 2 would be guns and ammo. 3, sex. 4, alcohol.
Yes.
Alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
That's the black market.
Yeah.
Think of moonshiners and the mafia,
I think also
prohibition, all that stuff.
Do you think people will trade for housing? No.
Because the titling is the issue. Titling is the issue. So there's
at least ability to have a roof.
Like, I feel like maybe we'll have people renting out rooms and stuff like that. Like we live, like all of our kids have their own room. Like when I was growing up, I didn't have my own room.
Yeah.
I didn't die.
Yeah.
Like my kids, like I want my own room. Like we could put like 8 kids in a room. They just put like stacked, bunk beds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, especially the size of my rooms. Yeah. Like these kids, they got it nice.
Heck yeah. And an extra room for a podcast room.
Yeah, like gee whiz, like what I'm living like this. But eventually that's where it's gonna go, is we're gonna start having to hunker down together.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to so find a community, find people. Like I'm not talking about today, it's not a message about prepping, but we will bring up prepping. Prepping will be an episode. But
like-minded people.
Yeah, you have to find like-minded people, get on their numbers, talk about it, prepare.
Actually talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it.
So many people are afraid, I think, to sound like a crazy person.
Yeah, no.
Talk about
it. Everybody I talk to about it are like, they get excited because they need people. The number one thing that you're going to need more than all those other things is people.
Yeah.
Because if there's a marauders going down the street and you're in your house and you've got at least 15 people in your house packing.
Yeah. F around and find out.
They'll go to your neighbor's house, this old lady, and rob them and steal their food. They're not going to steal your food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's just too much work.
Yeah.
It's like the bully in the school. He's not going to bully the kid that fights back. He's going to bully the kid that won't do anything.
Exactly.
So, that's it for today, guys. I think it was a good episode.
I do too.
We talked a lot about a lot of things, and not so much specifically about crypto or the Fed coin, but I do know that it's all connected. It's all interconnected.
It is. And it's for control.
Yeah, it's all for control.
And we got to fight it.
Yeah, we got to fight back.
I feel like if the majority of us don't go along with the new technology, it will fail and they'll have to try again later.
I think the only hope, and this is going to sound crazy, there's 2 hopes in America. Number 1 is for a revival, which I feel is coming, a spiritual revival.
Yes.
And it's a revival that will speak against sin. It's a revival that will cast out demons and heal the sick. It's not a revival that's preaching gospel.
Yeah.
That revival has already came.
Yeah.
The revival that is needed in America is a revival that will speak against sin, speak for purity, cast out demons, and heal the sick. There will be miracles in this revival that's coming in the next 5 years, I believe it. And then the other option is getting Trump back in office.
Yeah.
Getting Trump back in office. He's the only one that you can trust. Don't trust Ron DeSantis. I like him. I'll vote for him if I lived in Florida.
Yeah.
But I can't trust him with the presidency like you can Trump.
Yeah.
There's something unique about Trump in our lifetime.
Yes.
And I might lose a bunch of followers. I don't care. But there's something unique about Trump and his calling, his anointing in this time. Now, he's not a big, super Christian guy. He curses from stage. He's vulgar. He's rough. He's had all these bunch of wives. He's not like this super morally person.
Yes.
But there's the thing that really caught me with Trump was two things. One is he was on an interview. I think he was on CNN, and it wasn't him. It was Newt Gingrich was being interviewed on CNN, and they said, why is it that the Republicans and the Democrats are both attacking Trump when he's the nominee? This is before he was even president, and he just won the nomination for the Republican Party. And he said, oh, it's because he's uninitiated. He said this live. You can go find the clip.
Yeah.
I think it was CNN.
One of us.
He's not one of us. He hasn't been initiated to the secret societies. That's why.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody was attacking him.
And you would think at his status, like, I feel like he's a little bit of a narcissist. He definitely would have.
You have to be like, I'm going to be president. Look in the mirror and be like, I think I should rule the world.
That's me.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Put
don't
your
think
name all over everything.
Yeah.
But you would think that he would be initiated.
Yeah.
You really would think so. But he is such a wild card, and he's going to do whatever he wants.
And he was very much connected to the Kennedys.
Yes.
He was very connected to the Kennedys, especially JFK's son that was murdered. Right? And then Roger Stone and these other people he's been very connected to. Unique people in American history.
Yeah.
And, I forget, John F. Kennedy Jr.'s, he was going to be the next senator for New York.
Yep.
Hillary Clinton ran because he died very conveniently.
Yes.
You really think Hillary Clinton will beat John F. Kennedy's son? No. The one saluting in front of in the Oval Office.
No chance.
Pretty much the Prince of America, right? If we had any royalty, that guy would be it, right? He was more beloved than anybody. He had his own magazine. I think it was called the Edward magazine.
Yeah.
And they made everybody wear the wigs, right? And he was in politics. Everybody liked him. He was on Seinfeld. Like Elaine liked him. Remember, she picked him up.
Yes. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Like, yes, he was a darling of America. And he was a good looking dude. He wasn't dumb. He was well spoken. But he was a friend of Trump. They were brought up together.
Yeah.
And so these different people, he has a different viewpoint of the world, I think, than most. And then he already had money, and it wasn't money that you had to start a business or do something to do it. It was real estate that his dad bought, and then all he did was just develop this real estate business that he had created, right? Anytime he goes outside of real estate, he pretty much failed except for the TV stuff, right?
Yeah, the show.
So he was he didn't need to. And everybody's like, oh, but he's not that successful in real estate. And I try and tell him, dude, do you understand owning a skyscraper, just one, in New York City?
Like the taxes alone.
Do you think about the money that is the value?
Yeah.
It's like the blue chip in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know people in El Paso that have a lot of money. I have a bunch of real estate. Like, I think I'm a real estate guy. Like you compare that to Donald Trump owning just one property.
Yeah.
And he owns multiple in New York.
Yeah. His taxes came out. Did you see them?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it.
Yeah. I haven't fully looked at it, but everyone's like, yeah, he's not doing anything shady. Everything's above. Yeah. Hello.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that. But I'm just saying, the difference between a skyscraper in New York and anything in El Paso.
Yeah. No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything in El Paso.
Nothing compares.
Yeah. Like, literally freaking Macaulay Culkin was there in Home Alone in his hotel in New York. Literally.
Yeah.
He said hi to Trump.
He walked through the lobby.
Yeah. Come on. And that was supposed to be the highest class in New York City, right? He goes to Trump Tower.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I love it. No, Trump was a disruptor in a good way. I think if there was a better person to vote for a first time, I would have voted for them. But I did end up voting for Trump because Trump versus Hillary, not voting for Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary was going to go to war with the Ukraine, and then what happens right after Trump leaves? We go to war with the Ukraine.
Shocking.
That's what I told everybody.
Yeah.
She was already saber rattling to go to war with the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And then in the primary, he wasn't my guy. I was a Rand Paul guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I still wish, like, man, imagine a Trump Rand Paul ticket. That would be crazy. Like Trump and then Rand Paul is his vice president. Like that ticket would go far because Rand Paul, he knows. And then you know, like his dad was the first one to say fire Fauci. You know?
Yeah.
And I shared it on my page.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, before the whole pandemic started.
Yeah.
Before it was officially a pandemic.
Yeah.
A plandemic.
I feel like Trump bought us a lot of time.
Oh yeah,
and I think that if
he threw a lot of things in the mix.
A lot of things. He put a lot of wrenches in the mix. I think he fell for some things also, especially with COVID. But I think he learned, and he'll do better next time.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of things that he did behind the scenes that nobody knows about. Like I bet you didn't know that he combined the Fed and the Treasury. Most people don't know that. I didn't know. That's why you see the Treasury Secretary all the time. We never even heard about the Treasury Secretary before that. It was just like an appointed position, and he's like, "Yeah, they print money." Now they're combined together, so now there's some oversight that the people can have with the Fed. Yeah. Because before that, it was just totally an autonomous.
Yeah, they're doing whatever they want, and there's nobody monitoring or saying anything. Yeah, that's so smart.
So there's also another thing that happened was there was a prophecy that was spoken about Trump 3-4 years before he got into office.
That's you sent me that video. That's very cool.
It's nuts, right? And it's this guy named what's his name? I can't think of his name. Hold on, let me look it up. His name is Robert Paulson.
His name is Robert Paulson.
Right.
I love that movie.
Yeah, Fight Club's good.
The best. My dog is Tyler Durden.
Really?
Our little rat terrier. He's mine. And Brody, the bigger one's Jacob's. And I had to name him.
That's interesting. Wow, there's a movie called Trump Prophecy.
Ooh.
I didn't know that was a thing.
There's been a lot of really cool stuff coming out. 13 Mules? Did you watch that one? That was intense.
Yeah, about the election
fraud.
Yeah. Kim Clement, that's his name. He said a prophecy that Trump would be in office even before he announced he was going to run. And he was like, and I will raise a trumpet, and he's like, his name will be all in gold, right? And you're like, what is that?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting. And he had a lot of stuff about Trump's prophecy and that everybody will attack him, but they won't be able to get him. They'll try and arrest him, and they won't be successful. Yeah. And he's like, I will use this rock to destroy Babylon and stuff like that. And then he also talked about how he will win, and then there will be a delay, and then he will win again in his prophecy. So it talks a little bit about that, like
that's so crazy.
That he won't win the second term, but he'll win the third term.
Yeah.
Now, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying it's
Do you
gospel.
think if it does happen that way, and that was God's plan, let's say, do you think we needed this 4 years of Biden to realize how important it is to have someone like Trump in the office? I mean, just on the border alone, over 5 million that we know of.
Jeez.
Through.
I've been down there. Yes. I was telling you.
And it was dangerous. Sephra told me about that lady that you helped.
Yeah. There was a lady that was, that 2 guys surrounded her in her car. She was down there volunteering with us.
Volunteering to help the migrants.
Yeah, we're handing out stuff. It's
winter. They're hungry. They're cold. You guys are helping them.
I'm hungry right now.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Stomach. You guys might be able to hear it.
Yeah. No, but we was there.
And those dudes surrounded her.
They surrounded her, and then I went up, and then they walked away. You know, because I'm big and scary.
Thank God you were there.
And then the other girl, we got to the next stop where we were handing out stuff, and she was like, "You saved her," and she made a big deal, and I was like, "Yeah, maybe, you know." But that's what guys are there for. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Just stand up and help.
Yeah, and it was a blessing. It was a blessing to be able to help the migrants, and they're from everywhere, not from Mexico.
Yeah, no.
None of
They're
them from Mexico.
around the whole world.
None of them are from Mexico.
Yes, that's a misconception that they're saying.
not Mexican.
No.
Yeah, they're not Mexican. I didn't meet one Mexican person. The one was from Colombia, one was from Brazil, one from Argentina, a lot from Venezuela. All these South America countries, and they all came trekking up.
Yes.
Think about how long it would take you.
Oh no, there was I follow this guy on Instagram, Ben something, and he goes to all the border cities and he works really, really closely with Border Patrol. And they allow him in to talk to the people and to show what's going on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big push from people from Africa, different places in Africa. And it took them 4 months to get there. And they came in through Central or South America. And the UN is helping people come up. They have tents. They have brochures on the path, how to get up. They teach them to ditch their documentation so that they can get into the U.S. easier. It's a whole thing that the UN is helping.
You want to hear a crazy one?
Tell me.
Selena told me that in South America, in Venezuela, no, Selena told me, I forget who told me, that, no, it was one of the guys there was telling me. He was very upset, and I asked him, I said, why?
Was he a migrant?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're all legal. The ones I talked to were all legal.
Okay.
The migrants, like the ones that are seeking asylum, they all have a place to live.
Yeah.
But the illegals, there's no place for them because it's all full with the people that are seeking asylum.
Yeah.
Seeking
asylum.
Yeah, and I asked them. I said, "Why are you upset? Like, ¿por qué enojado?" Right? And he was like, they lied to us. And he started to explain to me that at his in his country they had TV commercials.
Yes.
TV commercials. Telling them that if you get to America, you won't have to work so hard, and you'll have enough food to eat, and you'll have shelter.
Yes.
Like it's like the paradise here in America, right?
And it's a misconception. They're making it seem like they don't have to do anything. The government's going to help them. The American people want them there.
Yeah.
It's going to be like this great thing. Hurry and come. That is interesting because that's been a conspiracy theory that I've heard for a while. And now you have spoken to somebody that witnessed that.
Yeah, he was telling me, I was like, a TV commercial?
Yeah.
Who's spending money to do the advertisements?
Who? Who do you think?
Yeah, gee whiz, I don't know.
People here trying to dismantle here. 1,000,000%. A lot of people think it's Soros.
George Soros, yeah.
But even like the fact
he
that
just looks creepy.
Yeah, he looks like a bad guy.
He looks like a gnome. He looks like a little gremlin. Yeah.
But it's crazy. Like here people have the idea that it's all these people that are hurting, they're in war-torn countries. It's mothers and children. They're being told that they need to get here quickly. They're being manipulated. They're being helped by the UN. They have camps and brochures literally teaching them.
I guess that's it, guys. Because her camera went out. We just talked way too much.
Too much.
A Big Brother turned that one off.
Oh my gosh. We're going to do a whole episode on that.
Maybe we should go down there.
We should. We should go down there because there's a lot of bad, dangerous things happening. And people, we need to have a strong border.
Yeah. Our church is doing a lot. We just gave out, 1,000 burritos.
Oh, beautiful.
Yesterday.
Beautiful.
For New Year's.
Good.
Yeah, it was really cool. But all right, guys, God bless you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas of next podcast, questions, leave them in the comments below. Share it, comment it, download it. I don't know, what else can they do?
Share it, comment, download. They can download.
Like it.
Yeah, you can download the podcast. Yeah.
Okay. And find us on social media.
Yes.
And
connect with us.
Yeah. And don't be afraid, because greater is he that's within you than
And
he that's in the world.
Amen.
We don't have to be afraid. So
No.
don't live in fear. Even though this stuff is kind of scary, don't live in fear because you have something better inside of you.
Yes. God made you for this time.
Yeah. So when you were knitted in your mother's womb, he knew that you were going to be born at this time.
Yep.
And you have like this. This is what it is. I have a certain set of skills. Right?
Yes.
That's what you have right now.
That's what you have.
You
Be
have
brave.
the skills to be able to deal with this right now.
Yes.
So go out there. Don't be afraid. Live with courage and faith.
And especially if you have kids, you need to be strong to teach them strength because they were born for their time and you need to help them be ready for it.
Amen. Amen. All right, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.